Hi, it's Kim and I'm cooking at Villaggios today, and one of my cooking tips that I'm going to tell you about today is about noodles. How different they can be, why we use different types of noodles, what they look dry and what they look like when they're wet, and the different preparations that we use. So we're going to talk about right away our dry noodles. Angel hair pasta. I also have our rigatoni noodles. This is, like I've told you before in my other videos, my dad's favorite noodle. It has a nice big hole in it and it has a nice bite to it. Then we have our spaghetti noodle. Then we have our wheat penne noodle, which I love to use in vegetarian dishes because this helps with protein with our vegetarian customers. And then we have the flat noodle. This is called an Alfredo noodle. We use all of these noodles at our restaurants and others when we have specials. But this is what we're going to be talking about today, and I will show you what these noodles look like wet and how to tell when they're done when we're cooking them. So we're going to start with a couple of myths about cooking noodles. First of all, when you're cooking noodles, you always want to have a 5-to-1 ratio. 5 cups of water to about a cup of noodles. You don't want to have more noodles than water in there, otherwise the starch content in your water starts to mess with the feel of the texture of the noodle, how the sauce also adheres to the noodle, and just the bite of the noodle. You want boiling water that's hitting every spot of this piece of noodle, inside and out. And when you put too many noodles in a bucket of water that's trying to cook noodles, it's just not going to work out that way. So we have water here, it's boiling. We do season our water with salt. We're going to do that. That just gives your noodle a little bit of flavor. You do not put oil in your noodles. So we have the water here and it's boiling, and we're just going to throw our noodles in here. I'm cooking the wheat penne today. It's going to take about 5 minutes. Again, you just want to make sure that there's enough water in here to cook. I'm using a strainer just so it's easier for me to help cook here today. But you could just put this in a regular pot of water, and you want to keep on moving it with a spoon. And you're going to let your noodles cook anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. That's the rule of thumb with noodles, except for an angel hair pasta, which is much more thinner in diameter. So we put our angel hair pasta in about 4 minutes ago, and you can see how nice and pliable they are. They're going to be ready in about a minute here, and as soon as that happens, I'm going to take it off the heat and go dump the water, and we're going to rinse them off in cold water. And then, like I told you, we're going to toss them in a little bit of olive oil until we're ready to use them in our entrees. All right, so we're just straining our little batch here of angel hair noodles that we made. How you know that the noodle is done is you just want to take it out and you want to give it a bite. And you want to make sure that it still has a little bit of bite to it. This is perfect. So it's not totally done, but just has a little bit of bite. When you're biting through your tooth, you can just feel that texture. That's when you want to stop the cooking. And then you want to cool it down as fast as you can. So I'm just going to run some cold water on my noodles. And again, usually we are making like 20 pounds of pasta at a time. And you don't want to feel any heat in here, so we make sure that the water goes all the way through. We're just going to let these dangle for about 4 minutes, and then I'm going to toss it in olive oil, and we're going to put it in a container to be used later this evening for the dinner hour. When it's time to warm them up before your dinner party, again, you're going to have a better consistency of your food as well doing it this way. You're just going to get another pot of water going, fill it up, bring it to a boil, turn the heat back down, which I did, and then you're just going to use a colander. This is obviously a restaurant colander, but you could use just your regular colander with a handle. You're going to dip it, pour your noodles in here, and we're just going to rewarm them for about a minute. And then we're going to bring them back out and drain them, and then you can use them right in your pasta bowl. Again, cooking your noodles, you're going to cook them to al dente, so then when you do this process, you're just warming them and you're not overcooking it and it's becoming like mush. I think we've all had those noodles where it's just a mushy noodle, there's no texture. So this is a great way to guarantee that when you're working and trying hard to get a dinner out, that you forget about your noodles on the stove and then you have to start all over again before your guests get there. Do it a day ahead of time. When you have time, turn the radio on, relax in the kitchen, and get prepared for your dinner party. And then, like I said, right before it's time to cook for your guests, you're just dipping your noodles. Have them bring their plate over. Again, have the sauce out. Let them put marinara on it, or maybe you have a fettuccine sauce, some roasted vegetables. Let them make their pasta to order. Make it fun and inviting, and make it more of a party atmosphere, more of a talking atmosphere. It's a great way to get people to start communicating at a meet and greet as well, when you're bringing over people that maybe don't know each other as well. So we just warm this up. You're just going to rest it. Again, I have these nice little prongs on my strainer. But if you don't at home, just have another, pot sitting here or a bowl where you can just let your noodles strain for a little bit. That's all we're doing here. And that's what you're going to do with your noodle. I'm going to go get a pasta bowl, and we're going to show you what each noodle looks like once we redip them and discuss them again. All right, so here are all of the noodles. I have dipped them the second time. We have the angel hair right in front. See that nice texture, and even you can see it with me handling it. It's not too mushy that it's falling apart, but it's not too, what do I want to say? It's not too undercooked that it's cracking either. You should be able to just, take your fingers and pull it apart, and that's perfect. So we've got that. And then you can see the spaghetti back here, totally different textures. I love angel hair pasta with a light sauce with vegetables, where spaghetti does better in a sauce because it's thicker and that sauce just clings to it. That's why a lot of people use spaghetti in a meat sauce, in a bolognese sauce. Then we have a fettuccine noodle that's flat. A lot of people use this in a cream sauce because it, picks up that cream. You can twist it in your fork and it's lovely. It looks great on a plate. Then we have the penne. Penne can come in wheat or white. I like to use a wheat here. And again, I'm using it in my ricotta and sausage dish, or I can take the sausage out and use it for a vegetarian dish. And that's why the wheat. It's great protein for a vegetarian to sneak it in there. And then rigatoni, my dad's favorite noodle. I'm sure he's really happy I'm mentioning him again. He does work really hard for us. He delivers your pizzas when you're up here and your dinners to your motel rooms. So his favorite noodles are rigatoni. He even has it with Alfredo. Because with rigatoni, the sauce gets in the middle, so it gets pockets of that sauce. When you bite into it, the flavor explodes. But this is a great noodle for baking because it has a thicker crust that when you bake this, like in our rigatoni at Villaggios, it bakes into the noodle, but the noodle doesn't break down at all. And again, some of that sauce gets in the middle, so that's a great noodle to use. So be creative and try them out. And just remember, don't ever overcook your noodles. And when having a party, cook them a day ahead and just store them in your refrigerator with a little bit of olive oil. And it takes the whole stress of cooking them the next day out, an hour before your party. So enjoy. Have lots of fun. If you have any questions, go to our website and Facebook me, and I'll answer any questions you might have about your noodles or ideas on sauces for your noodles. Have a great day. Grazie.